Having Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is so fun. You're telling me this isn't normal?
I'd like to think this is just one big troll, making people who diagnose themselves using TikToks have to stare at a big L right in their face. The only tissues they have to worry about won't be their connective ones. It'll be the big box of Kleenex they'll need to wipe their tears once they realize their doctor isn't buying into their self-diagnosis and won't give them a disorder to use for internet points. I mean, lucky for them. Wanting EDS means they're willing to be flexible, so maybe they can settle for factitious disorder or chronic diarrhea. I hear that last one is very up and coming, often without warning. Yep, it's fake disorder cringe time once again. And while I'm no doctor, I definitely predict a lot of crap coming out of these people. But don't worry, while I might not have the cure to their madness, I know enough about first aid to know that they're gonna need some ice. You know, because they're about to be severely burned. Hey Girl Scout, what's shakin'? How have you been? I personally have been struggling a bit. My ADHD symptoms are always worse in the winter, but I'm trying tons of new things to help. Lately it's writing down my daily tasks on a whiteboard where I'll see them often, and that has been helpful. I did have a moment where I was down on myself, but I just keep working on reminding myself that all anyone can do is their best. And it isn't fair to myself if I'm ashamed with my best not being the same as someone else's when I'm doing everything in my control to cope. It's a hard mindset to follow all the time, but I mean, the reality of a disorder is that you have symptoms that interfere with your daily life. It isn't desirable or shameful, it just is. Speaking of desirable, I really thought that we were on the decline of faking and glamorizing them for clout, but lately it seems that it's taken off again on the subreddit. I can't believe that I can still find enough content to make more videos on this after like 100 of them, but as long as I can find clips and you guys watch them, I'm gonna keep on bringing attention to this. So enough chit chat, let's just jump right into things.
Your aesthetic is based off your mental health condition. Part 3. OCD. DID. Depression.
IBS aesthetic, the color brown, baggy hoodie and stretchy pants without buttons, the poop emoji, a sketchy gas station bathroom with one of those keys attached to a block of wood that you have to ask the attendant for, Imodium, no cauliflower, cute little gut bacteria, ooh woo, lactose intolerance, Metamucil, cancelled plans. Foot fungus aesthetic, the color red, closed-toed shoes, the mushroom emoji, the tile in a recreational pool changing room, ointment. Sports, a friendly dermatologist who tells you to call him Phil, so aesthetic.
So many shirts are almost normal, but then they go like this. We keep it safe with things like brown sweater, navy shirt, pants for the legs, and one black dress that says keep it moving.
See how stupid that is? It's not an aesthetic. It's a series of symptoms that affect people to the point of impacting their daily lives. People can look and act completely different to someone else with the same disorder because of how their symptoms impact them. OCD can mean counting things obsessively, or it can be intrusive thoughts of something not quantifiable. Depression can be crying in a dark room, or it can be someone appearing normal to everyone else but being disconnected from their emotions. This TikTok is a shallow stereotype of a few disorders, and it reeks of uneducated child who lacks the experience to be able to have proper empathy for those with mental illness. It's not cute to suffer. It's not beautiful. It sucks, and it shouldn't be glamorized or diminished into some pretty colors and Pinterest images. Just because the people suffering are beautiful people, produce amazing art, or do fantastic things does not mean their disorder is a good thing. It means that they did these things despite suffering from an illness. Don't diminish other people's suffering or discredit their abilities simply because you want to make your TikTok page look cuter.
I am so good at masking. No one would ever realize I was autistic if I didn't say anything.
Me inspecting every single piece of fruit or veggie for bruising mold holes insects.
Everyone look at Kyle over here. He doesn't want to eat a bug or a worm. What are you, autistic or something? What's next? You gonna tell me you don't want to eat a bruised banana? You're worried about getting mold and getting respiratory issues? Look at Mr. on the spectrum with his perfect carrots and slightly lower protein consumption due to the lack of spiders on his berries. I bet you even get good value for your money for picking produce without holes in it, you neurodivergent animal. Psh. You know, it's a good thing I caught you in the lunchroom, or else no one else would have known that you have ASD, you have autism spectrum disorder, because that totally matters and this is the only way we would have known. Yeah, got 'em.
There's a tasty treasure inside every piece.
Ick! It's green! It's seaweed! Oh no, please do not tell me that it's raw fish.
Watch out, it's moving. Yucca! What's that? Ice cream. Red bean ice cream. Ooh! Red bean ice cream is weird. But everyone loves ice cream. What's that? It's a baby bean burrito. Mama makes them special. It has beans and cheese in it. Want to try some? Ew! No, thank you. Don't worry about Doris, Juanita. She only likes squeezed cheese.
Come on, dude. Let's stop with the vague statements that make completely neurotypical but gullible people on TikTok think that simply inspecting fruit for issues means anything more than not wanting to take a bad bite. Context matters. Sure, maybe if this person is obsessively fixated on it to the point of it taking up a lot of their time and thoughts, then yeah, it is indicative of something. But also it could be OCD, an eating disorder, or something apart from autism due to overlapping symptoms. To just word it as some non-debilitating habit of checking, not being explicit with the intensity and also of overlapping symptoms, and hoping that doing the Disney princess overacting is enough to convey it absolutely contributes to misinformation being spread. And given the fact that adding context is easy peasy lemon squeezy, my request that you add that in is definitely not sour grapes. Sorry, Gabby. I know it's your birthday and we came to the trampoline park to celebrate, but honestly, Mommy couldn't figure out how to make sure you were jumping neurotypically. And it would be very ableist of you to jump on the trampoline when that's obviously a neurodivergent stim. You can just record me jumping for TikTok, which is loads of fun for me. Because my lucky privilege of having ADHD means that I get to join in on the neurodivergent stimming. Maybe if you do a good job recording, you can try jumping in the foam pit later. I haven't seen any TikTokers relating that to their developmental disorders yet. Wait, on second thought, I could be the one to start that trend on mental health talk. Oh my god. Quick, let's go over there before the other moms try to go viral. I'll even use the birthday balloons filter to make sure that we really celebrate your day. Because this is all about you. Now aim the camera a little bit higher like I've taught you in the past, or else you're grounded. Thank you. Happy birthday, honey.
Gregory! What the are you doing? How did you get up there?
So yeah, we got him down. And we grounded him for the next couple of weeks.
This overuse of the term stimming has really diminished the difference between normal self-soothing and stimming in relation to something like autism. People without autism stim too. Think about the random guy tapping his pen in class and the girl twirling her hair. There are differences in what's simply an occasional self-soothing technique and a repetitive, often disruptive action to regulate sensory input. Looking at the types of stims, the frequency, the control over them, all of these are things that professionals evaluate when considering ASD. Jumping on a trampoline at a trampoline park meant for people to jump on trampolines doesn't really seem like something to attribute to a neurodivergent stim. Just feels unnecessary and a bit of a reach. Also, their TikTok target market is other moms, so the comment about peeing is likely a confession meant to help other moms with the common shame of pelvic issues post-childbirth, and I don't think she was referring to an ADHD thing, but that being said, I still think it's a bit strange to continue jumping after saying that you've pissed yourself. Like, surely you'd want to get to the washroom right away to make sure your pants are all good and there's no chance of accidentally causing a health and safety issue for others. I don't know. Either way, just wanted to save you all the pointless comments.
Yet infantilization of autistic people is bad and all, but sometimes I just want to be infantilized. I don't want to work or do school, I just want to play TBH.
Yeah, I get that racial inequality is bad and all, but sometimes I just don't want to be allowed the same freedoms as someone with a different skin color to my own. I don't want to have to bring the kids to soccer practice or run my business. I just want to stay home and chill. Yeah, I get that wanting to be disabled is bad and all, but sometimes I just want to be a wheelchair user. I don't want to have to stand on my feet all day or have to park far from the shops. I just want to rest my legs. Yeah, I get that homelessness is a serious issue and all, but sometimes I just want to be homeless. I don't want to pay rent and mow the lawn. I just want to be out meeting people. people.
The problem with both parties is that they always want to give your tax dollars to the less fortunate. The less fortunate get all the breaks.
Does this not sound absolutely ridiculous? You being autistic has nothing to do with how you're feeling, and the answer to it is not being infantilized. Most people feel this way at some point or another. It's about wishing that you could have a few minutes of not having to deal with your responsibilities because they can be a lot. Being infantilized means having people talk to you like you're slow or stupid, treating you like you're incapable of doing anything for yourself, and assuming that they can't trust you to do even the most simplest of tasks when it's all untrue. Most autistic people despise being seen as less capable than someone without autism, and they fight hard to stop the stigma and the babyish treatment people give them due to their assumptions about ASD. It's okay to feel lazy or burnt out, or to need some help or a break. That doesn't make you as simple as an infant. It just means that you know your limits, and it's something people of all ages and abilities experience, not just those with autism. I guarantee being treated like you have the brain of a baby would feel infuriating, and you would quickly realize that that wasn't what you actually meant. And if it is, fair enough, but that is not the norm and should not be connected to a particular group of people that would disagree wholeheartedly with what you're saying.
So initially, when our manager hired us, he didn't know that we were part of a system. Then I'd say about a week into us working at our new job, we got really close with one of our coworkers. So we opened up to her and told her, hey, just so you know, we're part of a DID system. A little bit of time passed. I kind of progressively told more of my coworkers. And then one day we had a staff meeting for work. And I basically told my manager and my boss that I make TikToks about dissociative identity disorder and try to give people like information or like resources or whatever. And at the end of the meeting, I went up to my manager and was like, hey, so I just want to let you know I'm part of a DID system. And basically he was like, okay, well, if there's anything I can do to like be helpful, let me know. And then obviously I was like, okay, well, if there's any questions you have, let me know. And then eventually he was making new name tags, and I guess, you know, to be supportive, he made 2 name tags, one that says Destiny and one that says Ginger. So we kind of wear the name tags interchangeably whenever we notice switches at work. So I also remember going up to my manager initially and being like, hey, so have you heard my little secret? And he was like, well, I heard it through the grapevine. And honestly, that will still stick with me. It was so funny.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but you
Some super personal info about me that you totally could use to exploit my vulnerability if you're a bad person.
so
Dream, or whatever name is on my name tag that day. Because remember, I have DID, but it's a secret. But also follow my TikTok where I only talk about that. If you don't, you're ableist, by the way. Anyways, thanks for the great first week here. I can already tell that we're gonna be best friends forever and ever and ever.
And me and Squidward are gonna stay on strike until we get what we deserve, even if it takes forever! 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 Forever!
I don't think this person realizes how shitty they're being. The company would be aware of this person's diagnosis if they mentioned it upon applying, which I'm pretty sure is required in order to receive accommodation. This means they either didn't mention the diagnosis until getting the job, or they didn't have an official one that could be used to provide proof of disability. They only brought it up for attention from coworkers, which let's not even get into how personal this is to mention to someone obligated to work alongside you after barely knowing them a week. But I digress. It puts the manager in a tough spot to now be privy to this info. I doubt they want to enable someone who isn't formally diagnosed or who clearly enjoys attention for their disorder, but their hands are kind of tied. I mean, if this person isn't formally recognized with a disability or illness, the company can treat them the same as other employees in terms of sick days, work hours, office space allocation, and other things that often get reworked for those with an official diagnosis, and that can often come at a cost to the company. The issue is that these companies also have to be very careful to avoid any discrimination accusations against them. So while they may think this is complete BS, they don't want a lawsuit thrown at them over something easily avoidable, even if the lack of official diagnosis seems like a solid defense. It's still a risk at the end of the day, especially if the employee is making the manager aware of their disability. If it takes a name tag to please them, then they may think the costs of biting their tongues and complying outweighs the cost of a potential HR disaster.
I can't see! I can't see!
My pants!
Hey! I can't see! Did I pass?
I do find it worrying that people are trying to push for self-diagnosis being valid. There's a reason there are formal applications for disability and mental health help. The criteria to have a disorder often means needing accommodations, taking medication, and being limited in certain privileges. I understand not wanting others involved in making choices for you, but when it comes to putting others at risk for harm, be it an accident, a lawsuit, or a high-risk situation, it is completely selfish to not be forthcoming about it because you want to have control over your choices. You don't have control over having these things as much as TikTok seems to think you do. It sucks, but that's the truth. Someone who meets the criteria for being legally blind can't just choose to hide that info and drive a car without consequences, even though everyone else they know is allowed to drive. Is it necessarily fair to not be able to do what everyone else is doing? No. But is it fair to knowingly impose risks to everyone around you? Also no. We need to keep clear boundaries and laws around accommodation and discrimination to make sure that those who are living with disorders and disabilities are able to receive the help they need and can stand up for being treated unfairly with the law on their side. If anyone can just try and claim the quote-unquote advantages of a disability by self-diagnosing, it makes the resources harder to get in cases where someone absolutely needs them, because that's why people apply for these things, not for attention and cool points. It's not fair to the people who have made the difficult choice to put their disabilities and disorders on record and give up what they have to receive help, suddenly have all these people wanting to benefit without giving up their own privileges. It makes disabled people look like liars, people abusing the system, or attention seekers. Once TikTok starts realizing that disorders aren't an identity and that a diagnosis is meant to be as a way to seek help, then maybe they'll realize how self-absorbed they're being trying to use one for their own benefit. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. If you agree and want this message spread to more people, then please let that YouTube algorithm know by liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, and watching till the end. It genuinely helps to get the message out there. And bonus, it gets YouTube to show you my new content once it drops too. You can also come discuss your thoughts on my Discord, link in the description, or check out the gal behind the Danny Phantom PNG on my socials linked as well. I also have some cool merch you can check out if you want, and you can always drop some video suggestions in the comments below. And that's all from me. Hope you all have an amazing day, and I shall see you all in the next video. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Thanks for watching.